There you go. What's going on, everybody? Finally get some sunshine here in Quincy. It's been really cold today. 26 degrees last night and foggy. I get notifications here. People, a lot of advice in my world. A lot of people chiming in, telling me what they think I should do. Well, that's great. It's with a multitude of advisors that plans succeed, according to Proverbs. King Solomon says. But in the end, you got to make your own choices, and you got to do what's right for you. So what I wanted to talk about today, in fact, is on that subject, is a whole lot of almost. Subject today will be called, Solomon says, a whole lot of almost. And the world is going through a whole lot of almost. You know? Oh, cool. The JWs are out. I'm going to have a conversation with them in a minute. But a whole lot of almost. What am I talking about? A whole lot of almost. I've been told by a few different people and people who are in the know that there's a job opportunity on a farm out in Genessee. Genessee is a very rural community way out there in the boonies on the way to Antelope Lake. Morning. Very good. Got some sunshine coming. That's good. Yeah, doing the work, yeah?
Yeah, doing the work, yeah.
Isaiah 43:10.
Oh, all right, look at you.
Bless. Thank you. Yep. I'm recording a video where I'd stop and talk. Isaiah 43:10 is, you are my witnesses, declares the Lord. In their book, it's Jehovah. Everywhere it says the Lord or Elohim. Yahweh. They, what's the word? They anglicize that to Jehovah. And so Charles Taze Russell in 1858, his translation of the New World Translation of the Bible, where they leave out certain prepositions, or add certain prepositions, actually very important ones. John 1:1, and in the beginning was the Word was with God, and the Word was God. That's the Greek, but Charles Taze Russell added a preposition before God. The Word was a God. So they don't worship Jesus as God, just as an example. That's neither here nor there right now. They're doing the work for their church. I'm doing the work for my church. What is my church? It's the church. There's only one. The body of Christ. We're talking about a whole lot of almost. Not a whole lot of nothing, because it's more than nothing. It's just a lot of almost that I'm going through right now. Because, okay, Genessee is out there. It's a ways out there, okay? It's about 35 miles from where I'm at right now. In a car, 45 minutes. Get there. Real chill. Who's leaving sweaters and trash around? Half-eaten apples. I don't like that. So, the deer are like that. I just saw 5 deer yesterday afternoon down the street from this park, so they'll like the apples. Whole lot of almost. I'm gonna take a nice stroll around Quincy. I'm gonna perambulate. $10 word for the day. 3 minutes. Change. Sun's out. Guns out. It's warming up. It's 26 this morning. It's going to be 73 this afternoon. That's an immense delta. And it's a totally different day. Experience of the day. And today is Halloween, which is, I might get into that on this talk. My opinions about Halloween. But the subject of today's vlog, walkabout, is a whole lot of almost. All right, let's get into it. Now, I'll try not to dox anybody, but I will mention names of people who are involved in this situation. I'm not going to put them at risk by telling you, who are watching this, that certain people are out here willing to help me and trying to help me. Just not quite adding up, not quite getting there. Very close. Very, very, very close. Have you ever heard of Zeno's paradox? Great Greek mathematician Zeno. Zeno's paradox is basically a logical fallacy, intellectual exercise, like a satori almost like a Zen koan, where Zeno attempts to prove that any kind of motion is impossible. And here's how he proved that. Say, for example, the distance from me to that light pole is a certain number. Say it's 8 feet, okay? What's halfway of 8 feet? 4 feet. What's halfway of 4 feet? 2 feet. What's halfway of 2 feet? 1 foot. 6 inches, 3 inches, inch and a half, 3/4 of an inch, 3/8, 3/16, 3/32, 3/64. So the number never reaches zero. So I never quite get there. So all motion is impossible, except it's not. That's paradox. It's a whole lot of almost. That's kind of the idea. There's a whole lot of almost going on. We have this one little bit that's not quite fitting in. One little simple ingredient. And what I'm finding is there are a lot of people dedicated to the almost. That's Babylon. It's dedicated to the almost. The only person not dedicated to the almost is Christ himself. In him we live and move and have our being. And it says, I think it's in Hebrews, it's in him the fullness of the deity dwelt in bodily form. The fullness, the completion. He holds all things together. Colossians chapter 1, Paul talks about. He is the gluten of the universe. The gluten of the universe is Jesus Christ. He is the antidote to the almost. The almost. The almost. It's like, oh no, the nothing, from Never Ending Story. It is the nothing. The almost is the nothing. They're equal because they don't quite get there. Never quite make it. It's all wretch and no vomit, Is the flame worth the candle? Come on, let's get to some Alan Watts wisdom here. It's a whole lot of wretch and no vomit. A lot of imagine you're building up, you ever had sex? Anybody? I'm not gonna make this a lewd vlog here, but in that moment, like there's no almost. Like you either get there or you don't. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'll say about that. You either get there or you don't. It's like being almost pregnant. A whole lot of almost. Yes, no, maybe so, right? So, like Miss Miyagi says, the Danielson. And the second Karate Kid, where they're in Okinawa. And they go to the bar, and they got the glass plates in the thing at the bar, and there's a contest of can you break the glass plates with one swing? And the big buff, karate master kid with his sleeves rolled up and his big arms swings and breaks 2 or something, and the Marines are there, and they break 1 or 2, and Mr. Miyagi's confident that Danielson can break all 6 with one swing. He says, Danielson, focus, all power, winch. And in karate, you karate yes, or you karate no. Karate guess so. So, this is little meditation, actually that's Tai Chi that he's doing in that moment. That was a Tai Chi practice. Gathering your chi, gathering your strength, gathering your energy, and then focusing all your power and winch, swinging through the 6 plates. And he did it. Very, very, I love that scene. So that's what kind of the point I'm getting at is the world is committed to the almost. The world is committed to the nothing. The world is committed to keeping things a little bit separated. You got to keep them separated, right? Don't pay no mind. Under 18 won't be doing any time. So I have to kind of ramble on because still too many noises. Still too many cars. Still too much interruption of my peace of mind, etc. I could walk back there, I suppose. But I have an idea where I want to go. It's all the way around town. So, who needs uniform? Oh, yeah, the hospital. Okay, that's what's going on. I'm on the way to the hospital. And they just built a new addition. A new hospice care, actually. The local hospital board approved a multi-million-dollar project, which is basically dying rooms. They basically built themselves places to die. That's what my friend Dove has pointed out. And I have to agree with her. They've built for themselves little fancy little cubicles. When they have reached the end of their life, they get hospice care and palliative care and all that. And they'll just pass quietly with a roommate. They're actually not that fancy, which is, to their credit, it's not that fancy. But it is enough for them to comfortably die. to go comfortably numb. Oh, that's a beautiful truck. 1986 Toyota 4Runner, all blacked out. Perfect car. So, a whole lot of nothing, a whole lot of almost. A whole lot of almost. So the almost is this in my situation right now. If you're following along, taking notes, let's get to the point. The point is this. The farm in Genessee, I've been told by several people that there's an opportunity for a job and potential for a spot, a place to pitch a tent and stay there while I'm working, whether 2, 3, 4, or 5 days a week. I would prefer three 6-hour shifts would be just enough for me. That's $25 an hour. That's $450 a week. That's more than I was making in Idaho. And if I'm not paying rent, that's a good situation. Probably take home $400 a week after tax. $350 on 20 hours. Let's call it 20 hours, so $500. So I would say if I'm working 20 hours a week, man, there's a lot of traffic. Quincy was never like this, yo. It was never like this. It's a mountain town, rural mountain town, 6,000 people. There's apparently 7,000 cars. And it has to do with the new addition to the hospital, as I just mentioned. So, a whole lot of almost. Let's get to the point. So, okay, Genessee, farm, Genessee Organics. I'd love to work. I'm not against work. I don't like, working for assholes who try to, lord shit over me, tell me to do things I don't want to do, etc. But there's a lot, obviously I'm willing to work. Talk to Wade Traphagen and Michelle out there at Jewel Lake Ranch in Sagal, Idaho. Look it up. An organic, non-profit farm. Golly. I just can't get away from them. They never stop, dude. They never fucking stop. Pardon my French. Still working on it. Okay, 12 minutes in. Still can't get away from the fucking noise. Here we go. I'm making the rounds. Making my way downtown. Come on now. Jesus fucking Christ, people. Pardon me. It's going to be a running joke. And in fact, I'm going to screw going all the way around. I'm going up here. You people out of your fucking minds. You're diseased. I'm the cure. Fuck you. I hate these people. So, God bless America. That's what's up. Let's scoot around to the backside here where there's less of that bullshit. People looking at me like I'm the problem. Fucking blows my mind. It blows my mind. How committed y'all are to convenience. I was at one time as well. I'm not immune to this. And I wouldn't want someone coming to me. Well, when I was in Idaho, for example, in my trailer, my RV, I lived across the street from a 76 gas station, so I could get a bag of chips and milk and a beer or two, but I couldn't, get all my groceries there. So, being 12 miles south of Sandpoint, I'm not riding down State Highway 95, with the logging trucks, etc., and tight shoulders to go to Super One grocery store and load up and ride back. That just wasn't going to happen. Maybe in a different reality. 12 miles isn't too far with a separated bike path and protected and, a good bike, maybe electric bike. That's possible. But in my situation I had there, for a long time I was borrowing my brother's bike, 26-inch old school mountain bike, which was a beautiful bike. It was a Zion, Reynolds 853 tubing, beautiful, beautiful mountain bike, but not something you want to ride 12 miles each way to go get groceries. So I relied on a car. I had to have a car. 100%, and maybe 99.9%, had to have a vehicle to make my existence possible in that location. Unless I could arrange with, a neighbor or, Lisa or my brother when they're going to town to take me into town. But I that just doesn't work. Plus my work was 23 miles away. One of them. Another was 13 miles away. Another was 30 miles away. So I relied on that Subaru to get me around. And then when I got down to having to donate plasma at BioLife 21 times last winter, that was in, north of Coeur d'Alene, almost exactly 30 miles from my trailer, and 30 minutes away down the highway. And I would do that often twice a week for between $40 and $85 per visit. And I'd go next door and get a Little Caesars pizza as a treat. So that's kind of the pattern I was in. Absolutely required to have a car. I have landed somewhere and positioned myself somewhere where I don't absolutely need the car. And Quincy is extremely bikeable, extremely friendly to... God, Chris walks around everywhere. He's leaving his stuff around everywhere. I saw him wearing this hat yesterday. This guy, Chris. Okay. Local homeless. And he's mentally challenged. He's short-term memory loss. He was in a bad accident, traumatic brain injury. And he's the kind of guy who'll sit next to you and just mutter. A lot of it makes sense, but some of it doesn't. He'll ask me for a cigarette 3 times in a row. Like, hey, you got a cigarette? I'm like, no, I don't smoke, Chris. 10 seconds later. Hey, man, you got a cigarette? So, there has to also be, in community, in society, in this time, provision for that type of mental illness, where I recognize the guy needs some help, and I'm willing to help. I've given him sweaters, I've given him food, I bought him a soda. I won't give him a cigarette because I don't have any, and I don't want to support bad habits. Although if I had a cigarette, I might give it to him. But he's leaving his stuff around everywhere he goes. That sweater on the picnic bench, that's definitely Chris. His hat, way out here. He gets lost. He told me, he said, I have places to sleep, but I can't remember how to get there. So what this place needs is barracks, canvas tents, army tents, something on a vacant lot where people know how to get there, or shuttle back there every night. Because he's not a bad guy at all. Why am I getting a notification 17 minutes into my walk way out of town? Good question. He's not a bad guy. He's friendly. He's helpful. He's helped me. Okay, but now we got people leaving their beer cans. All right, so we got beer cans, and we got clothes, and we got trash. Here I am. Here I go. Off to see the wizard. A whole lot of almost. I'm almost 18 minutes in. I haven't finished this point. I've driven this home. I mean, a lot of these also, again, these are for myself. These are for posterity. These are for my mental health. These are therapy sessions as I walk around. And I'm going to vent a little bit while I get some exercise. I'll say it's to your benefit as a human being, human animal, to get a 20-minute walk in every day. It really does improve your clarity, mental clarity, your physicality, helps digest your meals. In Idaho, I was having trouble because I was so inactive that I ended up with a hiatal hernia in my stomach where I couldn't lay down at night unless I was reclined slightly, or else I'd be in so much pain I couldn't sleep. But I have fixed that through this lifestyle and through kombucha, improving my gut biome. I may still have the hernia. I don't know, actually. They wanted to stick a tube down there and do some surgery. And I got close to it. I just didn't go to the appointment where I was supposed to have the tube stuck down my throat. I freaked out. I backed out. I chickened out. And in my mind, I was more willing to deal with the pain and discomfort of the reflux than go get it fixed. So, but time has proven me right, and this so far, so good. I am healthy. I am able to digest my meals well, and a lot of it is related to this lifestyle. So again, I am in a place where I don't absolutely have to have a car. However, full circle back to the point, without a car, I really can't get to Genessee. There's no bus there. Like, there's a bus to the Taylorsville Y. Goes to Chester from Quincy. Okay, Taylorsville Y. Okay, that's I think it's 6 miles from Taylorsville. And there's another 6 or 7 to Genessee. So we're looking at 13, 12, 13, 14 miles, something like that, uphill. And I mentioned this to Deb. I said, that's a 12, 14 mile bike ride or something uphill. She says, well, it's not steep. I'm like, it's still an obstacle. That's an obstacle. Maybe I'm just being a pussy. I hate to use that term. Maybe I'm just being a little bitch that I'm not willing to ride 14 miles uphill from the bus on my bike with a backpack loaded with all my camping gear to pitch a tent, to do all this. For what? For work on a farm. Okay, that would be great. That would be worth it if that was a definite thing of show up, we'll put you to work and you'll be fed and you'll have money coming every day. That's the situation I had in Idaho. I showed up every day, 5 hours of work, $100 in my pocket that day, in my pocket. And that's the way it should be. Not, we'll put you through a probation process and be unpaid labor for 2 weeks or a probationary period, or like I said, and we'll take you got to have a bank account and a ID and a credit card and good credit score and all the shit, and we'll maybe pay you every 2 weeks. I'm not doing that. I will show up to work if you pay me that day. And that's the way I live. That is my choice. So the whole lot of almost would tell me, just judging from these kind of vague promises and these vague, like, oh yeah, if you go out there, maybe she'll give you a job. Maybe you can pitch a tent out there. But she doesn't want homeless people there, so you got to not let her know that you're homeless. Like, well, so now I have to tiptoe around someone else's prejudices? By the way, that was my old house. 60 Myers Street. Oh. Been there for a couple years. Caleb, when you were born, you were in the laundry room back there for a little bit. It's a one bedroom, so we had Teresa, and then Caleb came in 99, so yeah, that's when I started at the mill. Beautiful little street. I love this area. I would love to have that place again. I'm not against having a place to live, yo. I'm not 100% against paying rent, so long as I have, the return on investment of that is good. Say I'm working for $25 an hour at a farm, 20 hours a week. I'm making $500 a week, bringing home $400. I am willing to pay. What's that? Let's do the math here, because your rent, they say it should never be more than 1/3 of your take-home pay. So if I'm taking home $400 a week, $1,600 plus one, $1,700 a month. Most months $1,600, but there are 4 extra weeks in the year if you do that way. So $1,700 a month, 1/3 of $1,700, it's $566.66. That's a fair market value rent. For a part-time job, if I was working full-time, $1,000 a week, take home probably $800. Say I'm taking home $800, so that's $3,400 a month. 1/3 of $1,133. So it's probably how things are calculated out here. If you're working full-time at $25 an hour, you should be able to afford $1,100 a month for rent. I don't want to work 40 hours a week. Call me lazy. I like doing I like doing this. I like walking around. I like training. I like getting stronger. I am getting stronger. I can run up the queue. I can run down the queue. I can run the pole line to the queue. I can ride a bike down Main Street and keep pace with the cars. I can do that because I live this way. My time is my own. My energy is my own. I manage my own situation. Currently out of money. But the food bank had food, so I'm not destitute. Currently willing and able to work day labor for people here in Quincy. There should be a labor pool where you can show up at 9 a.m. and we'll truck you out to where people need firewood cut. People need yard work done. That is down the road in my future here in Quincy. That's real. That's going to happen. Because there's 3 or 4 guys out here who can work, would work, are willing to, and capable of working 2 to 3 hours at a time. Whether it's cleaning the town, clearing brush, stacking, splitting firewood, doing yard work, etc., 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 and so forth. So that's a full loop. I think I finally got to my point of a whole lot of almost. Have I driven that home yet? A whole lot of almost. I hope so, because that's an almost situation. The farm in Genessee is an almost situation. That's a whole lot of almost. I can almost get there with the bus. I can almost make sure I have the job. I can almost rely on someone to pay me and let me put my tent up. I can almost navigate around her prejudices of against the homeless. I can almost count on that as a way to get through the winter. What I can count on, and what is not an almost, is God himself and God alone, and he's the only one who's faithful. Jesus Christ, the Almighty, my Lord and Savior, is not the almost. He's the definite article. He's the real deal. He leads me and guides me. He is my shepherd. He tells me where to go. He doesn't give me these almosts. He tells me, do this, go here, sit here. Don't just do something, stand there. And that's harder than you think. That is not an almost. If he asked me to sit in a town and witness, sit on the corner and witness, as these gentlemen are doing, Jehovah's Witnesses are witnessing to Jehovah, who I also witness to. I am a witness of his. That's my job. And I'm doing my job. So y'all, that's my story. I'm sticking to it. Say a prayer for me that I can come out of the land of the almost into the land of definite as far as paying work. I would very much appreciate that. I don't like being destitute in the sense of, at this moment, I have almost $0. Very close to it. I got 25 cents in PayPal. And that long walk got the ball rolling, got the juices flowing, and I'm back where I started, more or less. That's what's up, y'all. I'm going to stop here. We're at 27 minutes. I will quote Psalm 27. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is a stronghold of my life. This is true. That is not the almost. That's a definite article. Love you guys. Thanks for watching. This one's a little longer. I got a lot to say. So on that note, God bless America. Over and out.